Okay. So we're going to continue, guys, with the past tense. Yes, now we're going to start practicing the verbs and start seeing them in context, correct, so that we can learn them. Okay, so the Wright brothers. Look at how that's written, huh? The right, as in, you know, if you use your right hand to write, the W, you see, is silent. Just like when you say, write your name down, correct? Okay, so the Wright brothers, who were they? Who were the Wright brothers? It says men with a vision, yeah? If it wasn't for these people, all of you wouldn't be here today, okay? So it says, do you like to travel? Do you like to travel? Yeah. Like to travel? I think we all like to travel. You're here for a reason, right? Come from all different countries, from all around the world, right? And in Australia today. Yeah, I think we all do. How do we usually travel? By plane, right? Why do we travel by plane? Well, we're in Australia, surrounded by water. So there is basically no other way. Maybe by ship, by boat, right? People come to Australia on cruises, yeah? But most commonly by planes. Why? Because it is cheaper, and supposedly it is the safest means of transport. We know that the airplanes sometimes crash. What was it, last week? In India. Yeah, there was a big accident, yeah. And I saw a video of a guy after the plane crashed, and he walked out like nothing. I suppose when it's your time, it's your time. And we've seen other things too, catastrophes and disasters. I remember in 2011, I was coming to school, and we had a TV in the reception. And I remember I got to work, and everybody was watching the TV. And I was like, what's happening? And they said, a plane just crashed into the Twin Towers in New York. And I was like, oh, wow. And I'm watching when I see the second plane. And I was like, this wasn't an accident. This was intentional. And very sad. Very, very sad, because I can't even imagine those people, you know, what they were feeling. You know, people jumping, very desperate. Very sad. So unfortunately, it's also a way that terrorists today, you know, like a weapon, like a bomb, kind of, correct? So, yeah, we see it from the positive side that we can go very far distances. We can travel faster, yeah? And also, I think that today travel time is shorter. Many years ago, you would fly maybe 20, 30, 40 hours. Today, Jamie can come from the other side of the world here in 11, 12 hours, right? You guys from China, 8 hours. Can you imagine? China is just at the top, and 8 hours. But Jamie literally like does this. She goes, whoa. Well, actually, no, because the plane comes under. But, 11 hours, like, that's nothing. Did you come direct from Argentina, or did you go through Chile?
Chile.
You came through Chile.
Oh,
yeah. So you did Argentina, Chile, and then Australia.
Yes.
Yeah.
My first time, no.
Okay. So first time, did you come through the States?
Brazil.
Okay.
Brazil, Dubai.
Oh, Qatar and all that kind of, Europe. You went through Europe.
Europe.
And you, Maddie, I think you came through United States, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Houston, Los Angeles.
Yeah. Okay. So it says, what are the names of some famous inventors? So what are the names of some famous inventors that come to your head? What are the names of some famous inventors? Yeah. What are inventors? Inventors are people who make things, create things. Who created the phone?
Phone.
Who created the phone? Where does the phone come from? Who made it?
Bill.
Huh?
Jobs.
No. Steve Jobs was the owner of Apple. But who made the phone originally? Who was the creator? Come on, Google. Oh my God. You guys go to school? Oh my God. Huh? Do you think Steve Jobs just made the phone? No, this was it before. What's his name? Alexander Graham Bell. Good. Alexander Graham Bell. Embarrassing, right, Carol? Yeah, absolutely. I know. Okay. Who made the electricity? Who invented the electricity? Come on. Where does the electricity come from? Who was the creator? Who? Benjamin Franklin? No. Thomas Edison. But Thomas Edison, did he create the electricity or the light bulb? The light bulb. So who created the electricity? Who found that? Wasn't it Nikola Tesla? Yeah, so Tesla created the energy, but he didn't know how to expand and distribute it. The electricity could only be like from here to here. And then Edison finished the formula and was able. Oh, that's even older. See, that's even older. Good. So it is necessary to have inventors. Without inventors, we don't progress. And usually inventors, they say, are very crazy people.
Smart people.
Okay, that's one way of saying it. But you know what? Why do we say crazy? You know why?
Really?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Because you know what? They're crazy in a sense because they go at, look what I created, look what I invented. And people go, nah, that's not going to work. That's stupid. That's silly, right? And they keep on going and they keep on going and they keep on knocking on doors, until somebody goes, I see that. So can you imagine when these were two brothers. And by the way, these two brothers, they never got married, never had children. They dedicated their life to aviation because that was their passion. So these were two brothers that had a bicycle shop. And they thought, because when they were a kid, when they were children, they loved this one. They loved kites. The father would, help them make the kites with sticks and paper. And they used to love it. Like they were fascinated about, the air and flying. A lot of you, like boys, correct? When you're young, you believe you can be Superman. Huh? And how many times have boys jumped off the house believing they're Superman? It's a thing. Like always people have been kind of fascinated with birds flying. It's kind of like, I want to fly. Huh? And so these boys too, they were, flying their kites with their dad. And it was like, and if we could fly? So they started, building with the bicycles first, ways to fly, like thinking, and have the power to, absolutely, sustain in the air. Didn't work. Fail. Complete fail. They didn't have enough manpower to be able to, get off the ground. So then they started thinking of other ideas. And as I said to you, like all these inventors are people that are crazy. People that nobody believes in. People go, nah. And so when they do these things, then people go, and look today, like an idea that for many was absolutely, like loony, crazy loony. And thanks to this, we are here today. So you are right, John. In a certain extent, you have to be very smart to be able to create these ideas. But you also have to be constant, persistent, and believe in yourself. When people go, no, I know this is going to work. And you try, and you have to fail to try again. If you think about it, it's a little like you learning English. Right? At the beginning, nah, I can't do this. Nah, can't do this. Nah, it's too difficult. Nah. And you try, and you fail. And you try again, and you fail. But at some point, it's like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And then it happens. And when you can go shopping. Excuse me, could I please? It's like, yeah, what would you like? And you can buy. I did it. Right? So this is exactly the same. Okay? Good. Let's have a look at the Wright brothers. So Jamie, first paragraph when you're ready. Okay, so we don't say one. Over 100 years ago.
Over 100 years ago, people only dreamed about flight.
Yes.
And the Wright brothers, Wilbur and
Orville
were dreamers who
changed
the world.
Changed the
world.
Changed.
Changed.
A D on the end. Changed. The. Tashi?
Changed.
No, not change it. Changed. No, not the. Changed. You have to say the D on the end. Otherwise, it sounds like change. But you're talking in past tense. So, changed the world. Changed the world. Wilbur Wright.
Wilbur Wright was born in 1867.
1867. Yeah, over 200 years ago.
And Orville was born in 1871.
Yeah.
In 1878, they received a paper flight toy from their father.
Yeah. So imagine in 1878, their father made them, correct, a paper airplane, like many do, correct? And when you guys, yeah? Okay, good.
They played with kites.
With kites, we saw that. The kites. Yep.
And
Started.
To think about the possibilities of flight.
Yeah. So you see, they had a motivation. Every good idea has a motivation. It's like, and people asking a lot of questions. People that create go, why? Or how can I do this better? There must be an easy way to do this, correct? And so this is how they create new ways, new ideas, new inventions to help us progress. Okay, beautiful, amazing. Okay, so yeah, cool. When they were
older, they started a bicycle business.
beautiful,
They used the bicycle shop to design their airplanes. They studied three aspects of flight:
yeah,
lift,
control,
control, and power.
and power.
In 1899,
Beautiful,
they
Constructive.
constructed
good,
their first flying machine, a kite made of wood,
wire.
wire and cloth.
Yeah, so wood, wood, right? And wire is, like a cable type thing. And then cloth, this is cloth. Okay? So that's how they made their first, let's say their first kite. Okay, continue.
It had not
Pilot.
because of why?
Wind.
Wind. It was difficult to control.
Good. Let me just scroll down. Okay, so up to here. Yeah. They continued.
They continued to study aerodynamics.
No, not Eldo.
Aero.
Dynamics.
Dynamic.
Dynamics.
Aerodynamic.
And the S on the end? Mix. Yeah, so aerodynamics. Beautiful. Okay, good. Finally.
Wilbur designed
Yeah,
a small machine with
a gasoline engine.
Engine.
So what's an engine? A motor. The engine is the motor. Yep, continue.
Wilbur tried to fly the machine, but it crashed. Crashed.
Yes, thank you. So Wilbur tried to fly it, but it crashed. Yeah.
They
Fixed.
They fixed it
And flew.
it for the first time on December 17,
1903.
It's always O, no zero.
Yeah, always O. So 1903. So we're in 2025. So we're talking, this was 222 years ago. 222 years that they did the first flight. Okay.
With Orville as the pilot.
Yeah.
The airplane remained in the air for 12 seconds.
For 12 seconds. You might go, 12 seconds? It's nothing. Huh? But think, it was the first time that a person was in the air. 12 seconds. That's all it took. It's like, we can do this. And the plane was born. So you got 12 seconds. But this is how you start. You start baby steps. So 12 seconds, and then they tried maybe 20 minutes, and then an hour, and then going from this place to this place. This is how it went through the history. You can't imagine like, oh, we're going to do a Boeing 747, like we travel. Possible. It's taken 220 years now for globalization. What is globalization? Globalization. Thanks to globalization, you are all here today. What is globalization? Yeah, but what is it?
Whole world.
Huh?
A whole world.
The whole world. Yeah. The whole world what? So the whole world as one. Connecting the world as one. That is globalization. And that is happening today. When you guys, how many of you buy from Amazon? How many of you buy eBay? How many? eBay. eBay. You don't buy online? Oh. Okay, Pipi's going to explain it to you later. Okay. So when you buy online, you can buy from China, you can buy from Europe, you can buy from anywhere in the world. And it comes to your house. This is globalization. When I was young, there was no globalization. There was, but it was very, very long. Today, imagine there is a new movie in the United States, today in Australia, anywhere in the world, same day. We all watch the same movie. Yeah? I remember when I was a teenager, I always say this. So when my family, when they moved to Chile, I had in Australia, I had a Sony Walkman, and I had my cassettes. I had all the latest music at that time. We're talking about 1989. So I had Bon Jovi, I had Madonna, Prince, like all the latest pop music at that time. Cyndi Lauper, all like bunch. And I arrived to Chile. I had just left the airport. My mom says, put your stuff in the taxi. I put my Walkman with my cassettes in the taxi. I did this, gone. In less than 2 minutes, gone. Do you know how long I had to wait to get the same music again? The same music. 2 years. 2 years. So you see, when I was a teenager, there was no globalization. It wasn't like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'll just go to the store and buy. No, because this music did not exist in Chile. When I went to Chile, here, my dad and I, we lived the two together for a year. My mom was in Chile with my brother, and so with my father, we had Kentucky Fried Chicken Tuesday, McDonald's probably on a Wednesday, Thursday, Pizza Hut on a Friday, every day. We arrived to Chile, and I go, "Where's the McDonald's?" No McDonald's? No. Really? No. I want to go home. I want to go back to Australia. No. Really? And then McDonald's came in the 90s to the capital, but I didn't live in the capital. Yeah. I lived 6 hours, 8 hours away in La Serena. Before it was 8 hours to go to La Serena by bus. And I remember I used to buy my McDonald's. Like I would go to Santiago, to the capital, buy McDonald's and buy extra reserves and have them in the bag. When I went home, heat up. Disgusting. Disgusting. If you do not eat McDonald's straight away, it is disgusting. And so, but I would eat it. I would eat it because it was McDonald's, you know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying. Today, there is no limit. You can go to many countries and you will find everything. Some people go, oh, I'm traveling and I'm going to Australia. What do I need to take? And I see people go, nothing. There is everything here. Yeah, but, I need this medication or that. This medication here too. So, you see, this is globalization. And if not, correct, you can order online, or you can ask on Facebook, hey, anybody coming to Australia, please, could you bring me da da da? See what I mean? So, yeah, thanks to these guys, we can do all these things today. How many countries do we have here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 countries in the classroom all together. Amazing. This didn't exist before. When my family moved to Chile, everybody wanted to meet me, because it was like, she's Australian. Like a Starbucks. Because it's like, I've never met anybody from a different country before. What I'm trying to say, that when I arrived to South America in the 90s, there were not many foreigners. Not many at all. I went to the international school. We were 3 foreigners in the whole school. A Canadian, an American, and myself, Australian. That was it. That was the international school. See what I mean? Now today, this has changed. My children went to the international school. All the teachers, American, Australian, English, all different. So that's what I'm saying. Today, it is very, very different. Thanks to these guys, you could say that, we are living better lives. Okay? Good. And I think another big one too was the food, right? But today, you have these shops everywhere. Yeah, how do they bring this to Australia? By plane. Okay, good. Continue. So, the airplane, 12 seconds.
Traveled a distance of 120.
120
120
feet.
feet. This historic flight changed the world. However, only 4 newspapers
Newspapers. Good.
in the USA. No, sorry.
In the US.
Reported this historic moment.
It's true. When they were going to fly this plane they created, nobody believed it. Everyone was like, nah, this is a joke. This is not going to happen. And so instead of having all the media, everybody recording this historic event, there were only 4 newspapers. Yeah. Huh? Because nobody believed it. And so, the media said, this is crazy. Nah, it's not happening. And they didn't go to cover it, and they missed the most historical event of the century. Yeah? And this is what happened. Okay. So this is what happened. Let's see. Ah, you kidding? Come on. Here we go.
Film made in 1903 recalls the first flight of this primitive biplane making aviation history. This film made in 1903 recalls the first flight of this primitive biplane making aviation history. As the two brothers prepare to attempt the first catapulted takeoff,
See
man's
here?
age-old dream of flight becomes a reality.
So you see here, let me just turn off the light a little so you can see better. So you see here, this guy, the first thing they had, the propeller, and he, to get it going, and look, no cabin, no helmet, no protective, nothing. You know, the guy just jumps in, you know, like, oh, we're going on the bicycle somewhere, you know, very dangerous. Do you think that's smart? See? So when I say that inventors are crazy, they don't think about those things, yeah? So here he goes. He's jumped into the plane. There you go. Very first aeroplane in the world. Look. Only 12 seconds.
December 17th. This film, made in 1903,
Here we go
recalls the
again.
first flight of this primitive biplane making aviation history. As the two brothers prepare to attempt the first catapulted takeoff, man's age-old dream of flight becomes a reality.
So 12 seconds in the sky. Not low, pretty high. 120 feet. That's how long. It just went around, and that was it.
December 17th, 1903, Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Witnesses gathered to watch the final test of a revolutionary new flying machine invented by brothers Wilbur and Orville Wright.
Orville took his position in the cradle. Wilbur was on the right wing. They started the engine. Lo and behold, 40 feet down the rail, the aircraft lifts up. They flew 120 feet in 12 seconds. 12 seconds that changed the
And he was lying down like a bed.
The successful test of the Wright brothers flying machine was a watershed moment in human history. The 12-second flight proved that sustained, controlled, powered flight was, in fact, possible. For the Wright brothers, this achievement was the fulfillment of a childhood dream.
One of the most extraordinary things about the Wrights is the fact that they were two ordinary people from.
So you see here when we say that it says that this was the culmination. This was the successful fulfillment of a childhood dream. This is how inventions occur. People dream these things and they go, how can we do this? And they try and try again. How many years were they trying, doing different things? Correct? Yes? Okay, good. Okay, let's see. John, from here to here.
The Wright brothers offered their invention to the U.S. government, but the government rejected their offer at first. The government didn't believe that this man invented a flying machine. finally, President
Theodore.
Theodore Roosevelt investigated their claims
Yeah.
and offered the inventors contract to build airplanes for the U.S. Army. Yes, finish.
So you see here when I say that people create things and nobody believes them. Look here, it says they offered their invention to the US government, but the government rejected their offer. The US government said, these guys are crazy. They want us to pay for something. No, that's not possible. So you see, smart or crazy. Says the government didn't believe that these men had invented a flying machine. So when they're like, we've invented a flying machine, we want to know if you guys want to buy some from us, we will make them for you, for your army. And Theodore Roosevelt goes, who's this? This guy's crazy. No. But he investigated and then offered the inventors a contract to build airplanes for the US Army. Because you have to think, when you're inventing something, you're using money from your pocket. And when you do it, well, can you imagine how much money they need to build? So this is why they offered the US government. And no. And then after, when they started investigating and they realized it's true, American inventors. Thomas Edison, American. Alexander Graham Bell. Most of the inventors in the world are American. Yeah, sure. Why? Because it is cultural. It is definitely cultural in the sense that they give you money for you to try. And, if you fail and you go, no, but now I have the solution. And they're, okay, explain. And they give you more money. You can fail many times, but as long as you have the dream and you have the vision and you can explain, they will give you money. In other countries, this is not the culture. In some countries, you have an idea, you want money, and they go, nah, that's not going to work. And if they do give you money and it fails, they go, no more money. It didn't work. They don't think culturally like you need to fail to succeed. You need to fail. And this is why I say again to you guys, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Make mistakes so you can learn. You don't have to feel embarrassed. No, this is like your crazy journey. See? And this is for everything. Do you think Steve Jobs made this in one time? Remember, Steve Jobs started in the garage of his parents with a friend. And I tell you, this was not the idea of Steve Jobs. This was the other guy's idea. But Steve Jobs, he was able to close the formula and say, we can convert this into this and this and that. But he didn't create it. What about Facebook? Same thing. Right? Google. The creators of Google, the biggest search engine in the world, they were 14, 15-year-olds. They were 14 and 15 and working in their parents' garage. So you don't need everything. You don't need big to start big. You start small and you grow. And you don't have to be 14 or 15. Look at, what's his name? Kentucky Fried Chicken. He started this business when he was 62. 62. He was a cook in a restaurant all his life. He cooked fried chicken. The business finished. They said, no more work. He didn't have a job. He was 58. He lost his house, his family, everything. And he was like, what can I do now? He wanted to kill himself. He was desperate. He wanted to kill himself. And then he said, what can I do? What can I do? I'm going to do what I know I can do. And he started cooking chicken at home and saying, hey, Maddie, I'm going to have chicken on the weekend. Oh, okay, I want one. Hey, Jamie, I'm going to make chicken for the weekend. Okay, I want one too. And offering the neighbors and everybody. And then, Maddie, Suyen, you got to try this fried chicken. It is amazing. And it started going from person to person. It got so big, then he started a small restaurant. And then another, and then another, and then another. Kentucky Fried Chicken, international business. Unfortunately, he died. He didn't enjoy it very long. He died when he was 74. So only 12 years and gone. But, you know, he got his family back and his family enjoyed, you know, obviously. Yeah. Pretty ironic, huh? Pretty ironic. Yeah, absolutely. And it's about vision. It's about vision. Imagine McDonald's. I think maybe a lot of you have seen the movie, The Founder. It's a beautiful movie. It tells I don't know if it tells the true story of McDonald's. Like there are so many different details not included in the movie, but it gives you an idea. So the actual owner of McDonald's, correct, was not the creator. He wasn't the inventor. McDonald's was created by two men. And why McDonald's? Because this was their name. But they wanted to keep the restaurant small, personal, just, you know, small. And this guy who would travel, he was a salesman. And he would travel all around the United States. And when he saw the restaurant for the first time, this is gold. He said, this is gold. And he had the vision to convert McDonald's in a fast food chain that is in, I think it's 900 countries. Yeah. Did you know that, what is it? I think they sell over 50 million hamburgers a day. But the business isn't the food. The business is the property, the real estate. So he was trying very, very hard to create these restaurants. And he went to the bank and he said, oh, I need money to build another restaurant. I need money. And the bank said, no. This business plan doesn't tell me we're going to make money. And one guy was listening and followed him. Can we talk for a minute? And this guy was a genius in accounting, in numbers. And he said, explain to me your business. And he explains, and he goes, your business is not the food. Your business is the land where the restaurant is. Start buying the land, build the restaurant, and you rent to the people. You put the rules. You say, you have to serve this food, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to pay me rent for the land, for the license, for everything. And they became $1 billion industry. That is what McDonald's is. It's not food. So you see, all these ideas, these great ideas, you know, they always have to or need a vision. Yeah? Okay, good. Let me see. Jojo.
December 17, 2003 marked 100 years of flight.
Yeah.
There was a 6-day celebration.
Sorry, there was a what?
Was a 6-day.
6 day, okay.
6-day celebration at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Good.
The location of the first flight, a crowd of 35,000 people gathered to see a
Replica.
replica of the first plane flight. The cost to recreate the plane was 1.2 million. However, it rained hard that day, and the plane failed to get off the ground.
Continue. You can now.
You can now see the Wright brothers' original airplane in the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is the capital
of
of the United States, of America. So you see here it says, in 2003, so 100 years of flight. So after 100 years of flying. Yeah, that's right. Where did I get 200 from? Oh my God, my maths are bad. Yeah, because 900 in 903. Yeah. So it's been 122 years since the first plane flight. Yeah, not the 200. Sorry. So it says in 2003 marked the 100 years of flight. So 100 years later, there was a 6-day celebration at Kitty Hawk. This is where the first plane went into the sky. And the location of the first flight. Now, look, from 4 newspapers, 35,000 people gathered, met to see the replica of the first plane. So they did a copy. A replica is a copy. And they paid 1.2 million for the copy. But it rained very hard, so the plane, it failed to get off the ground. And yeah, you can see the original plane. So this was Kitty Hawk in 2003. No, 100 years of flight, sorry. Here we go. So, yeah, here they're showing you.
Stiff wind from the northeast, and the Wrights used it. They set the plane down its guide rail, hoping to copy the Wrights' first 12-second.
So they're trying to imitate the first flight.
That the Wrights themselves had many failures before they flew.
Many failures, you see, before they flew. So it says many problems, many failures. They were trying to imitate the first flight.
We are. It's just me and Barbara and 35,000 other folks.
So many people. Look how hard it was raining, and with a replica of the plane. And so, yeah, it didn't. And I think they kind of tried. They tried again a few days later. They tried a few days later. Here we go. Let's have a look at this one.
Bringing an authentic airplane and this historic step together.
No. Sorry, let me have a look.
The engine.
Give me a sec. Okay, let's have a look.
This space heater is being called the Tesla of heaters. It can warm up a freezing cold room from 7 degrees to
Today we're going to learn about the famous inventors and aviators, Orville and Wilbur Wright. Orville and Wilbur Wright, often called the Wright brothers, are best known as the first inventors to successfully create and fly an aircraft that was heavier than air, forever changing travel, trade, and warfare worldwide. Wilbur Wright, the older brother, was born on April 16, 1867, near Millville, Indiana. Orville Wright, the younger brother, was born on August 19, 1871, in Dayton, Ohio. They were 2 of 7 children born to Milton Wright, a clergyman. The brothers grew up in Indiana and Ohio, moving several times during their childhood. Their father traveled often, and in 1878 he returned home from a trip with a toy helicopter for his sons. It was powered by a rubber band that twirled its rotor, and the boys played with it until it broke.
This airplane, yeah, you remember? Yeah. She goes, oh. This was a plastic plane. I remember I saw this too. It had a rubber band, and so you would pull it, and it would go choom. But it was the elastic, that would, yeah, you remember, Carol? Yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah.
Their own helicopter. Years later, the Wright brothers would say that this toy sparked their interest in flight. Although both brothers attended high school, neither one graduated.
Look at this. This is a common factor. Look, it says they attended high school, but they never finished school. This is a common factor. If you look at inventors and you see, who was it? I think Mark Zuckerberg too. He didn't finish. The guys, the boys that created Google didn't finish school either. You know what I mean? From what I know, like it's very because they think different. And when they go to school, they feel bored because, their minds are very, very clever. They say that when you are a creative, that it's like you have genius and you have crazy. They're very close. You have to be crazy to be smart. Another one, not only in inventing, but in the arts, you have Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo painted the chapel. What was his name? Van Gogh. In the time of Van Gogh, there were no mirrors. He painted his face just by touching. He cut his ear so he could look at it to paint it. Did you know that? Crazy. Like when, he cut his ear. You go, what? Yeah, so he could see and then draw because there were no mirrors like today. See what I mean?
Neither one graduated. In 1889, Orville built his own printing press and launched a newspaper with his brother Wilbur's help. The newspaper was not entirely successful, and in 1892, the brothers opened a shop selling and repairing bicycles. A few years later, in 1896, they even began building their own bicycles. Meanwhile, people all over the world were experimenting with flying machines. German aviator Otto Lilienthal made many successful flights using gliders, the first person ever to do so.
Gliders. These are gliders. Today, you see people, they, what do they call it? Hang gliding. Yeah. So you've got hang gliding. You've got, what's the other one? Delta. So Delta. And even people today, I've seen in movies, I don't know, I think it's true, I'm not sure. They wear the suits and they fly like monkeys. They call them, I think, flying monkeys or something. Yeah, in the military. It's just a suit and they fly with the suits. So this is what I'm saying. But it all began with the Wright brothers. You see? Yeah. People tried. This guy here, he would try with his arms, trying to imitate Icarus from Greek mythology.
He died when his glider crashed.
He died trying. Look how high he is. He died, but he tried. And look today, he is famous. Why? Because he tried. And he died trying. Pretty good.
6. That same year, American Samuel Langley succeeded in making short flights with an unmanned aircraft powered by a small steam engine. These two events inspired the Wright brothers, and they began seriously researching flying machines in 1899.
This is the thing. It says, and this is something that I've always found very fascinating, that you don't finish school, you don't have the education, correct? Or let's say the support, physics, mathematics, etc. But it says they start investigating, researching, and they were the ones that did it. You go, how? So what I'm saying is, I know education is important, but it isn't a limitation. And so I always say, when you want to do something, if you really want to do it, do it. Don't talk like, oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, don't let people say, oh no, but you have to study this, you have to. Maybe, I'm not saying no, but I'm saying that is not a limitation. And the other thing too, you are never too old. You are never too old. We were talking about Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken, 62 years old. Look at this chicken empire he created. You're never too old. But What is the one common factor? You need to dream. You need to want it. Because if you don't want it, it's not going to happen. That is the biggest thing, I think. You know, to have this dream, to go follow them. And when people go, no, 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 watch me. Watch me. I'll show you. That is the biggest way. See what I mean? Good.
Lilienthal had had the right idea with his gliders, but his crash proved to them that a better way of steering them was needed. They carefully watched birds in flight and noticed the way they tilted their wings to change direction in the air. Wilbur built a huge kite to test out the brothers' idea that warping or twisting its wings would allow them to steer, and it was successful. In 1900, Orville and Wilbur went to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, to begin experimenting with gliders. They chose Kitty Hawk because it had strong, steady winds, as well as sandy beaches for softer landings. Many early tests of the glider were made while it was tethered by ropes like a kite, and with no one aboard. The glider did not perform as well as they had hoped it would, and the brothers returned home to Dayton, Ohio to try again. In 1901, they returned to Kitty Hawk with a modified glider design and made dozens of flights with it. Although it traveled 400 feet, or 122 meters on its longest flight, the glider was still not performing the way the Wright brothers had calculated it would. When they returned to Ohio, they built a wind tunnel and tested dozens of different wings to see which ones would lift the best.
So you see, try, error,
This hard
try,
work paid
error.
off. The glider they tested in 1902 performed much better than earlier models. They also added a movable rudder, which dramatically improved their ability to steer and control their glider. After hundreds of successful glides, they were sure they were ready to build a powered aircraft. In 1903, they built an aircraft they called the Wright Flyer, complete with propellers and a gasoline engine. On December 17, 1903, Orville Wright piloted the Wright Flyer for the first historic flight. They had done it. Although the flight lasted only 12 seconds, traveling 120 feet or 37 meters, and lifted the plane only 10 feet or 3 meters off the ground, it was the first time in history that anyone had successfully piloted a heavier-than-air vehicle under its own power. The Wright brothers continued to improve their airplane, but despite their success, they had difficulty persuading people they had invented anything worthwhile. Most people just didn't believe it. In 1908, they began to make public demonstrations of their airplanes both in Washington, D.C. and in France, and the Wright brothers
So 5 years later.
became world famous.
5 years later.
They began
But they
to
were
build
working
and
many,
sell
many
airplanes,
years before.
creating a
So
business
this was
called
like
the
a
Wright
10-year
Company.
project.
They sold
Very
airplanes
patient,
to the US
consistent,
Army,
constant.
created a flying school, and even made the first air cargo delivery in history. In 1912, Wilbur Wright became sick and died at the age of 45. He had never married and had no children, once saying that he did not have time for both a wife and an airplane. With Wilbur gone, Orville took over management of their company, but he was not the businessman his brother had been, and in 1915 Orville sold the Wright Company. He retired from piloting and spent the next few decades serving on boards and committees, such as the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics and the Aeronautical Chamber of Commerce.
High school dropout.
In 1944, more than 40 years after that first famous flight, Orville Wright had his last trip in an airplane, a Lockheed Constellation, a far cry from the original Wright Flyer. Orville died on January 30th, 1948, of a heart attack. He was 76 years old. Like Wilbur, he had never married, and he was buried in Dayton, Ohio, in the same plot as his brother. Today, Orville and Wilbur Wright are remembered as pioneers of aviation and the inventors who made air travel possible. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Wright brothers today.
So you see, fascinating story. And to think, so the first airplane was created in 1903. Well, Tom Ford created the first car in 1901. And after the 1900s, the world has continued to progress, and it's going faster and faster and faster, especially after the smartphone. So after the phone became the phone, and the world has been growing exceptionally fast with the internet and now the Wi-Fi, we can all be connected. And so that is globalization. Call anybody you want anywhere in the world. Talk to your family in the countries. Not just talk, but you can also see them. Yeah? So that's technology. And so many have tried. Red Bull is, the owner of Red Bull is a fan or a big supporter of all these kind of, like, you could say, crazy ideas. He finances a lot of these projects. And so so he does a contest once a year in different countries. So it's called the Flag Tug. And basically, yeah, Belgrade, whatever. So here are the crazy people, right? They're trying to imitate. They're trying to create their own flying contraptions. They do it in the summer in the water, so, so people don't get hurt. Look at this guy. To see if they can actually fly. Nah, that's not gonna work. See, so many tries, huh? Look at this one. Oh, a bit further away. Yeah, that kind of worked a little. They did this also in Australia a few years ago. Look at this one. Wow. To this. This guy jumps from space and essentially just falls to Earth. There he is in space. Look at him. He's gonna free fall. Just jump. Jump. Red Bull paid for this, for publicity.
It's very difficult to do a perfect exit.
Sorry. Let me do that again so you can see. There you go. He's ready.
Be the first human outside of an aircraft breaking the sound barrier.
He wanted to break the sound barrier.
And it's very difficult to do a perfect exit. Do not over-rotate. Because if I start over-rotating, there's no air.
If he starts over-rotating when he jumps, if he starts spinning, he loses control. They were doing the world record highest jump in the world. Look, he jumped. And there he goes.
First 25 seconds, it looked like everything's under control.
That's him.
After 34 seconds, I hit Mach 1 and I broke the speed of sound.
Boom. He broke the speed of sound.
That was our goal. I wanted to be the first human outside of an aircraft breaking the sound barrier. Because of the fact that a lot of those scientists said prior to the jump, you're going to spin like crazy, and the other half
You're going to spin like crazy.
I was mentally prepared to spin, but I was hoping that I'm not going to spin. Now, if you watch the next couple of seconds, you see at that moment, it slowly starts to spin and getting faster.
Look at him. Getting faster and faster.
There's no protocol. There's nobody in the world telling you, listen, Felix, if this happens, you have to do this while the whole world is watching. Then I was trying to move my arms around a little bit, just maybe it does something, and then it stopped for a second, but now it starts getting the opposite direction, and then it really ramps up. At that moment, it's not about breaking records anymore. At that moment, it's all about survival.
600 miles per hour.
Not to leave your skull and get through all the eyeballs. If that happens, you're gonna die. I had a Chi Whiz attached to my hand. The Chi Whiz is a device that it fires a drogue chute that pulls you out of that flat spin. That's why I put my hands in to trick that Chi Whiz. It's less Chi, and now the Chi Whiz senses, less Chi, that means he's getting it under control. I turned around and I was stable as well.
Now he's stable.
So when you look at my suit, the more you fall, the more depressurized the suit gets. And here you can already see the suit flapping.
Now he's entered the orbit.
It's blue now. Black sky, back to blue sky. If you look at the right corner, Luke was dropping some flares, and it gave me a perfect direction for the wind. Now this is a very important moment. Very first time after hours and hours inside that spacesuit that I'm breathing regular air. So now I'm really happy because even the landing worked just perfect.
Do you know how long it took to jump from space to get to Earth? 90 seconds. 90 seconds. That's all it took. Anyway. Okay. Let's go back to our class. Past tense. Yes? The Wright brothers, they started a bicycle business. They dreamed about flying, and they designed an airplane. The president offered them a contract. To form the simple past tense of a regular verb, we add ed, to the base form. So we have start, dream, design, and offer. We add ed to convert into past tense. So now we have started, dreamed, designed, and offered. The past form is the same for all people. The Wright brothers, they wanted to fly. They continued to study aerodynamics. When you connect two verbs or more in a sentence, if you're adding actions, like and, then they will all be in past tense. But if you're connecting ideas, only the first one will be in past. You always use to to connect two verbs or more, always. And the following verb will be in infinitive. It is not necessary to have the two verbs in past tense. So the Wright brothers wanted, this is my past tense, wanted to do what? They wanted to fly, not to flew. Understand?
Just the one verb.
The first one, because this is the one indicating past tense. You do not need for this one. If it said, for example, and, then it will be different because you're adding. You're saying plus, 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 then all. If I go, they studied and played all afternoon. This is different because I am adding ideas. But here you're saying that they wanted to fly. They wanted to do what? So this is your past and this is the action. They continued to study aerodynamics. I am not adding, I'm indicating a different action. The verb after to does not use the past form. The Wright brothers invented the airplane over 100 years ago. Ago. Yeah, meaning in the past. I taught this a few weeks ago. And so we always use ago in the past tense. Never for the present perfect because you're talking before. I'm saying I taught this a few weeks ago. Yeah, finished, done. We celebrated the 100th anniversary of flight a few years ago. We often use ago in sentences about the past. Ago means before now. So it's finished action. Yes? Read more about the Wright brothers and underline the past tense verbs in the following sentences. So here, the Wright brothers, they lived in Dayton, Ohio. Their father, what is the past tense? Worked as a Christian minister. The boys learned mechanical things quickly. They loved bicycles. They opened the Wright Cycle Company repair shop where they repaired bicycles. They started to produce their own bicycle models. And the first airplane weighed over 600 pounds. They succeeded in flying the first airplane in 1903. Wilbur died 9 years later of typhoid. Orville lived to be 76 years old. See, all of these ideas are in past tense. What is to succeed? I did it. Okay? And I think you know the rest. Okay? Okay? Good. Let's do the next one. Do you guys want to take a break? Let's see. 5-10 minutes, go to the bathroom, get a cup of coffee. Did you see, Edna? They're doing a ballet with Peter Pan. Yeah, but the ballet, all the suits have lights.
Yes, I think I saw that.
Yeah, I'm thinking of going to that one actually.
se le envíe. Porque siempre hemos hecho solamente una carta. Mi marido siempre ha hecho la carta en el apoyo mío. Nunca 2 cartas, por eso era... Sí, esa es la idea. Ponerle la carta, pero nosotros queremos la intención de estar 2 años aquí. No irnos a 2 años.
我不知道呢，我今天还问我教练，然后我教练说啊，走，我给你看一下。
你在哪个地方？anytime。
应该是不，关键我这个私教的这个是一个，然后我自己的。
啊，我说你是办的 anytime 的地方吗？
我看一下是这个。
anytime 是哪些？
应该是不是吧？
是动物的这一家。
让我先看一下，它是不是这个？不是这个，我不是这个电话，我是另一个叫什么？你现在问我还真不知道。我那个老师
花那个花
哎什么？
Snape。
我先看一下，这个什么？
这应该是这不是连锁店吗？
应该只有动物跟看自己。
我办的是一周多少钱？
你问住了，我这个应该7月份就到期了，我也不知道它多少钱，反正我想着自己扣。
应该得比 anytime。
我不知道，
因为 anytime 整个全界都有。
我知道，但是关键在那个我在的地方，我觉得去这个店有点远，所以我就。
Norma, yo entiendo que la agencia te dice eso y no lo discuto, pero como te digo, lo que he visto en forma reiterada, y se lo digo porque yo estoy haciendo sus 2 o 3 apelaciones a la semana, no de mi escuela, pero de alumnos que son de otras partes, gente que me contacta, y una de las causales más importantes que veo de rechazo es porque fallan en lo que es esta carta, porque a veces la gente hace la carta y simplemente las agencias copian y pegan nomás o no lo justifican bien, entonces después el rechazo sale, si bien la persona ha indicado de que cuando vuelve a su país puede obtener mejores oportunidades, no hay una clara evidencia del impacto y en cuánto se traduciría esto. Por eso, yo lo decía, yo tengo mucho cuidado con eso, yo investigo, veo, y por eso, digamos, con las declaraciones que he hecho, me ha ido bien. Porque sé hacerlo. Si bien es cierto, yo hablo español y viví en Chile muchos años, pero yo soy australiana también, entonces entiendo a qué se apuntan las preguntas. Y es muy puntual, es como que quiero que me detalles esto. Y si tú te fijas, además, hay que hacerlo en 150 palabras. Por eso también es importante con tu aplicación que tú, aunque la agencia te diga, no, yo no necesito esto, lo otro, tú respaldas, no, yo quiero que me apunten esto, quiero que me apunten todo, lo más que se pueda en evidencia. La semana pasada hice una apelación de un matrimonio chileno que les rechazaron porque ellos no habían actualizado los últimos certificados de ¿cómo se llama? Que ellos son dueños de las propiedades en Chile, que los certificados que apuntó la agencia eran del 2022. Entonces, podían haber pedido más información, pero no lo pidieron, simplemente lo rechazaron. Entonces, eso es lo que hay que evitar.
应该我看一下，我应该有一个视频。对。
En sí, yo voy a hacer lo que usted me pide. Voy a hacer su 10 y bueno, ahí usted, como le digo, ve el resto del proceso con su agencia, lo que le dice. Bueno.
你是相当于法律系的是什么？是
我不知道呀，我不知道，我看不懂，我是发给我教练看。
我还有这跑步机。
应该他会帮我看一下，因为我不知道这个。然后因为我会跟他，就是有的时候我自己练完之后，因为毕竟对吧，我也然后我会发给他，大概我练了什么。
下个月我就要参加马拉松了。
你在这里跑吗？
对，悉尼马拉松。
我不知道，我教练他是7月份大概会有一个什么，他会有个比赛还是什么
？8月份的马拉松是世界马拉松的大满贯的赛事之一，很特别。因为去年2024年的时候，悉尼它是入选了这个世界，总共有本来是6大马拉松，芝加哥马拉松，什么波士顿马拉松，什么伦敦马拉松、东京马拉松，本来就世界是6大。然后去年的时候正好参加的时候，悉尼入选了，然后今年刚好是8月31号就可以去。周末的时候就在悉尼，还能跑过那个，还能进入那个海上塔桥，你知道吧？我靠，就是你每年只有一次，你看看。
不行啊，你这个成绩太厉害了，天真。
你每年只有一次，他那个你能就是人在海上摆上它，就是悉尼马拉松的时候。
我不敢想，我就是先练的话。
是。跑很好的。就最后冲线的时候，你知道吗？最后冲线的时候是在那个歌剧院，我把这景得好漂亮了。我那时候今年跑350，跑35吧，实际是35，实际上350。
有，你这太狠了啊！
我就是平时就是我基本上每天都去练。
我不行，我还不了。
你有喝肌酸吗？
没有。
你喝肌酸有助于你的恢复。
我没喝这些啊，我现在
蛋白粉有喝吗？
没有，我现在主要就是为了减脂，然后减脂之后再做力量，因为我比较会偏向喜欢力量，但是
那你为什么练力量不就减脂了吗？练力量的话，提高你基础代谢啊。
对啊，但是不行，那太胖了，还是得减。
不是呀，就是说我的意思是，
我知道了，但是我力量也，只是说先可能，我会觉得先刷脂吧，刷就是我又刷脂，我又做力量，就是我做力就是怎么说呢？
我感觉力量为主，刷脂为主。一般人来说，你的肌肉量起来之后再刷脂，那样好看，那就比较好看。
我就是因为我不喜欢做有氧，我非常不喜欢做有氧，我的教练已经被我折服了，然后他就说 OK， 他说让我们做一个这个，然后来做一下火箭腿，做几个，他帮我就是
火箭腿是对不对？
就是这样子。
火箭腿就不是对腿嘛？
就我不知道他跟我说的是什么，然后反正他教了我有这样的，然后就是直接妈，我想一想，我的几位。直接推，然后才有这样子的，然后就是有一个旋转，真的我都说了，反正乱七八糟挺多。
其实你在小红书上看你同学，慢慢你跟他练个几个月，后面的话不用教练，自己学都能看的。
我知道，但是刚开始我练不准啊，所以肯定。
你自己也有一个那种，你自己有一个自拍架，你自己录一下你的动作，你自己也能自己给自己修。我练那么久，我从来没找过教练，都是自己学的。
男生啊，
你就猛练就行了，不用管他那么多。
还挺好的，就是至少可以会有教练我安心一点吧，因为我自己有氧完了直接把我练懵了，我都不知道我要干什么。我每次有氧完之后，
有氧就
你今天下午我今天下午估计我有时间我会去练一下。
你们教练教你拳击吗？
没有啊，你会拳击？
我肯定会拳击啊。
我给你看我教练。太搞笑了。
这是你表妹吗？这是哦，这是哦，没有看。
还有自己我这个
Dice una prueba una vez, uno que eran 3. Oh, entonces现在做的
应该是，因为我不懂这个。然后
他应该是就是偏力量型的，偏耐力型的。
对，他真的。
Yo tenía a veces eso, pero porque
然后他练我，我感觉，然后我就想，我说你练我跟练着玩儿。
那你做动作一般一组是几次？动作是8到12次还是5到还是也就是
是12、15还是多少
？15是一个比较偏耐力的，就是说对于增肌的话，
他一般给我数15。
一般来说都是，因为健身的话它有一个 IM 就是说，IM 的意思就是说，就是你最大的重复次数，就比如说100公斤我能卧推1次，这就我1RM，对不对？然后的话，一般来说是8到12RM 是增肌的一个区间，就是说某一个重量你只能做8到12次，就这个区间，你就按照这个重量去那个。我看他的那种身材，还有他刚才训练，他就比较偏向那种耐力的，那种耐力男子那种。
对啊，所以他就带我练的话，就一般练的就是比较。
你来澳洲多久了
？1年多，2年。
跟我差不多，23年来的吗？
差不多吧。
我23年9月份来的。
他就这样子。
他硬拉特。他是硬拉特。
我不知道，我看不懂。
哦，他是高翻。
哇！然后他下个月他会有比赛。
这前段。我看一下这个灰色的是，红色的是20。
我数不清这些东西。
哦，我算一下，差不多30。
然后
这个是臀桥。
然后他还想教我倒立，我说你等等吧，我还倒立，我也立不起来。
倒立。
他会说啊，你试着玩。因为他带我，可能我会觉得他带一下还是比较合一点的，因为就是他会觉得，哎，你就跟玩一样，他做你就跟玩一样，就我说你真是鼓励式教育啊。
倒立应该你得练个差不多。哦。你
怎么？
哎，你是你属于不是？哎，你是哪个省？
你管
？Okay, we ready? Everybody's here?
我感觉应该是北方的。
那我也
北方，绝对是北方的，听口音听得出来，绝对不是南方的。
我也不知道，那他是中原吧？
河南。哦，我说怎么口音？口音很像，口音就是说，肯定，因为我听南方口音，我能听得出来的，因为我之前在南方待了6、7年啊，待了5、6年嘛。我在深圳之前待过几年。
那南方是什么口音？就你是
听得出来啊。
Where is everyone? Who's missing? Everybody's here? Who's missing? Somebody's missing? No? We're all here? Okay, good. Looks like somebody's missing. No? Okay, let's continue. So, we've already started looking at this, yes? So, we were talking about on Friday, yes, the pronunciation of the different verbs in past tense. And so now, here there are a few more rules. So, let's just review. Super important, right, Jamie? Changed. Yes. It's like change and a d on the end. So changed. It says here, ed to the majority of regular verbs. If the sound correct, the base form, you have t. Rain, these are regular. We're going to add ed. This is how we know we are regular. Not all verbs are regular. So this is why you have your list. And you need to check them. Yeah? It says when the base form ends in E, just add D. You don't put an extra E. So die, live, died, lived, just the D. Dance, dance. What else do we have? Decide, decided, just a D, just a D. Invite, celebrate, invited, celebrated, just the D. When the base form ends in a consonant and Y. So consonant, Y. Drop the Y and change to I and add ED. So it says change the Y to I and add ED. Carry, carried. See? Maddie? A lot of you yesterday made this mistake. Yeah? When you brought me the verbs, the list of verbs, a lot of you had that, you know, like you had this, for example. Yeah? And this was wrong. A lot of you had this. Wrong. Because you have the consonant, so you need to drop the Y. So here it would be cried and dried. The other one that you had in the list was satisfied, identified, all of you. But for example, let's see, enjoy here. This is a vowel plus Y. So leave the same. You do not change because some of you were changing these. This is the reason why. This has a consonant. This has a vowel. What's a vowel? A-E-I-O-U, right? Vowel. Vowel. A-E-I-O-U. So it says when the base form ends in Y, add ED. Do not change the Y, just add ED. And it says when a one-syllable verb ends in a consonant, vowel, consonant. So here I told you yesterday, consonant, vowel, consonant. Add an extra letter and ED. A consonant, vowel, consonant, an extra letter, ED. So we have stopped, not stop it. Stopped, hugged, hugged. So this sound is T and this sound is D. Stopped, hugged. You can hear very, very clear. Okay? Again, take note, take note, take note. Everything, take note. Then you forget. Write it down, write it down. The mind's fragile, you forget. Okay, good. Let's continue. It says also, look, do not double a final W or X. Do not add. So even though here we have consonant, vowel, consonant, you do not put an extra W. Consonant, vowel, consonant, you do not put a double X, just ED. Okay? So even though we have this rule, this does not apply for these two letters. Okay? Now it says, when a two-syllable verb ends in a consonant, vowel, consonant. So again, consonant, vowel, consonant. Double the final consonant and add ed. Only if the last syllable is stressed. So here we say occur. Occur. You can see the stress is cur. So I'm going to add the extra letter. Permit. Permit. The mit, that's where the stress is. So double T. But if the stress is at the beginning, do nothing. So here, open. Open. It's very strong on the O, so no double letter. This is the explanation. Why do some have them and some don't? It's because if they're not stressed, do not put anything. So I have here consonant, vowel, consonant, but the strength is here at the beginning. No double letter. Open, offer, open, offer. So you just add ed. Super important, those rules for spelling. So now you do it. Learned, loved, clapped. What's clapped? Yes, clapped, listened, and tell me the verbs. Where are they stressed? Do you use an extra letter? Okay. So, do them. You're ready? You show me. I'm just going to go. Okay. Let's see. First three. First three. What is dragged? What is dragged? Sorry. See, I can't see. Okay, this one? No.
Oh my god.
No.
Okay, okay.
No.
No? Why? Why?
No.
Why not? Why not? Why?
I think consult with Edna.
Why? Yeah. No, only is Y, only ED. Oh yeah.
Admit. Where's the stress? Admit. Not all of them. Hey, Jen, I said only three. I said do three.
I forgot that, sorry.
Let's see, Carol.
Yeah. Consonant on Y, you need to change.
No.
I-E-D.
Participio, ¿por qué? Si es pasado nomás. Tercera columna. Ah, para ti. Ah, ok. Como referencia. Ok, go ahead. What's dragged? What's dragged? Suyen, come here. What's dragged, everyone? See what I'm doing? See what I'm doing? These are to drag. When I go, come with me. See what I mean? But she's like, no. And so I I pull her. See, that is the drag. Yeah. When children, for example, if I have the jacket, yeah, and so I might be like this, and I go, and you go, you're dragging the jacket on the floor, right? Pick it up. Yeah, I vacuumed this. Who's of this? For the chip on the front. Okay, thank you. Yes. Let's see. Played, studied, decided, wanted, liked, showed, looked, stopped, happened, carried. Yes. Consonant Y. Enjoyed, dragged, dropped. Yes. Started, followed, preferred, liked. Mixed, nothing because it's WX. Admitted. Yes, double T because you go admit. Meet, the stress is on the last sound, so you say admitted. Propel, so yes, the stress is on the last sound. Propel, propelled. Yes, is correct. Okay, last exercise, so you can go. Because you say, esto porque el estrés está en la última sílaba. Entonces, admit, meet. See? Yeah, it's okay. Okay, can I erase? Yes? Oh, good, everyone. Excellent.
Excellent.
Okay? Okay, so this is what we saw on Friday. Regular verbs, yes? Regular verbs ending in ED, but 3 different sounds, yes? So we were saying, correct, that we have a sound of t, d, and id. Pronounce T, it says t. After the sounds, PKF, double S, this is double S, okay? So if we have jump, we're going to say jumped. Cook, cooked, not cook it. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. Cooked. Cough. Coughed. Beautiful. Kiss. Kissed. Wash. Washed. And watch. See the difference? Watch. Watched. Wash. Washed. No. No. Washed. Washed. No. Good. Good, Joe. And watch.
Watched.
So you have watched, washed, watched, washed. Yeah, I don't want to hear the washing. Yeah, got it? Okay. D. All these sounds. It's the sound that dominates. Yes? Not the writing. It's the sound you hear. So we have rub. What is rub? Rub. This is to rub. You know, when you have, oh, my hands are hurt. And cream, and you rub the cream. You rub the cream. When you're making a chicken or beef or pork, and you put and then you rub. That's why the condiments or the spices that you put are called rubs, because you rub them into the meat. Yeah. So rub, rubbed, drag. I showed you drag. Dragged. Huh? Not drag it. Dragged. Dragged. Love. Loved. Bathe. Bathed. Use. Massage. Massaged. Yeah, no massage it. Massaged. Charge. Name. Learn. Bang. Bang. And the D? Where's the D? Jojo? Banged. You're going to have to listen to Ricky Martin, huh? Yeah, absolutely. She banged. Right? Yeah, listen to Ricky Martin. Okay, banged. Call. Care. Free. Yeah. Just so you know, between you and me, I love a way to say that you had sex is to bang. So sometimes you go, oh, how was your weekend? Oh, we banged all weekend. Huh? Meaning you had sex, really. So when you see in the movies, you know, it's very common with guys. It's a very crude way. You don't go and say, oh, you know, how to say, I don't think any culture is going to go and say, well, how's the girl? How's the day? You know, did you guys have sex? Like, nah. Maybe girls, maybe we do, you know, maybe. But usually guys, you know, they usually go, oh, so did you guys bang? And this is what it means, okay? So don't just think that bang is bang, bang. It means something else too. So I'm just saying this because, look, incredible enough, I have a lot of students. You guys are young, and some students are on the dating apps, and sometimes they send me screenshots. Teacher, what does this mean? Teacher, what are they asking me? Because it's true. Like, one of my students was talking to a Japanese girl, I remember, and he said to me, well, teacher, I really like this girl, and she blocked me. And I said, oh, can I have a look? And he showed me, and I was like, you said that? No wonder, you can't say that. And he was like, well, why? I was just saying this. So what I'm saying is that sometimes you think you're saying the right thing, and you aren't. And I said, I would have blocked you too. Honestly, it was very, And so he said, oh, but at work, I hear the guys talk, and this is how they talk. It was like, yeah, but that's not a fair conversation, Bulmai, Got to bring it down a little. And he was like, oh, teacher, I didn't know. It happens, it happens. I remember during COVID too, once I was doing Zoom, and all girls in the class on the Zoom, all girls. And I was like, okay, girls, so what would you like to talk about today? And one of the conversations was this, like, teacher, I go out, these guys talk to me. It's like, I don't know. I don't understand what they're saying, So, yeah. Okay, so be careful with that one. Okay, good. It, right? when we have T and D in the final stem. So wait.
Waited.
Good. This one, yeah. Tashi, all you want. Waited, hated, wanted. Yeah. Yeah. Give it that extra poof if you want. I don't care. Added. So we go waited, hated. So what's hated? Horrible word. I hate this word. I prefer the word loved. It's better. But hated is the opposite. Yeah? So love is to give all your love and hate is so wanted, added, and decided. Yes? Tashi, washed. Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, last one. Write the words in their context, finish, bring them to me, and you can go home. Yeah? Verbs in past tense, verbs in past tense. Many, many, many more. Here, look for while I check. Oh, this is the previous one. Yeah, these are all correct. I put them on the board. They played because they dreamed about flying. They saved everything they could. They started it. They used, they tried, they crashed. They fixed, they stayed, they offered. They decided. Beautiful. Died. Lived. Changed. Amazing. Good, good, good. You can go.
The best way used.
Okie dokie. I train study so excellent. How was your thingy today?
Good. But
Okay.
now I have to think about it because it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I can imagine. What is it, a master's?
Project management.
But where?
Sydney Uni.
Oh, Sydney Uni. But what is it, an MBA or?
No, it's a master's
Just a master's. Okay.
in project management. Oh, sorry.
Bye. See you, Tashi. Correct. Also can be both. Very good. Just need to get you talking. Good. Good, Jamie?
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I think this is where you stopped last year, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. How are you doing at work? Talking better, interacting more? Why not?
All people speak Spanish.
Oh, you need to find in
Argentine, Chilean.
Argentinians.
Yeah.
You need to no, you need to look for a new different job. You're working holiday for how long more? For how long?
Until September.
Till September.
Yeah. Ay, eso le iba a decir. Si hoy día podíamos hacer la carta hacia la... Dijo que tenía que hacer nuevamente la cotización.
Yeah.
Para tomarla. Creo que
The 1st of July, $400 per person.
Sí o sí.
Pero, and the application form, you want to do that now?
Puedo hacer la misma porque usted me dijo que
Yeah.
cuando hiciera me van a hacer la nueva cotización.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, no, but I think it's the same. Wait a minute. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Give me a minute.
I don't have
Why? Because in the afternoon.
consonants already.
Twice.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
I corrected
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
Where
No,
I fixed it for you there.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamie.
Just
No.
But I checked.
No. Oh, offer. So here, tilde, no va al final. No va doble
No, yo vi
R.
dos R. nada que ver.
No, está ahí loca.
Está
tú.
tachame ahí.
Está ahí loca.
Yo leí dos R.
No.
Encima lo chequeé.
Because it's O at the beginning.
Yeah.
Decided, yeah. And this one?
También.
Yeah, also. Come on. Yeah, beep it.
Yeah.
Beepy.
Yeah.
Can be both.
Oh.
No. Be careful with the spelling. If you're going to do PTE, that is wrong. Yeah, got to be careful with the spelling. Yeah. No. Vowel Y. ED. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're looking for the attendance. Let me see. If you're coming in the afternoon, you need to look here. So yeah, attendance is there. Just leave it here after. Let me see. So yeah. But yesterday you came in the morning.
Yeah.
So why isn't it there?
Oh, no.
No, it has to be in the morning, Suya, because you came in the morning yesterday. Did you sign yesterday? Yeah, you signed yesterday. I gave it to you. Yeah, I gave it to you yesterday. Yeah, not here. Oh, sorry. Daydream. So this one can be also dreamt. It can be regular and irregular. Started, used, tried, crashed, fixed, stayed, offered, decided. Excellent. Oh, and these ones.
No, it's okay.
Come on.
Bye.